What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the boxing clinic, early morning grind. You dig? And back talking about Terence Crawford. A lot of people believe it's a foregone conclusion that he just wipes through Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. And I'm kind of tell you, that's probably not the case. I'm probably 100% sure that will not be the case. A lot of people believe Terence Crawford, walks on water, and I think a lot of people are making a mistake as far as that. Some people say that. If he wins this fight with Julius Ndongo, he's the pound for pound number one. And I'll get into that in another video later. Most definitely probably the final thoughts video after the weigh-in. But, it's some things that boxing fans don't look at. A lot of guys are just fanboys. And that's fine. You're a fanboy of a fighter. But don't come out here trying to make your argument, about a fighter if if you ain't spitting the facts. Oh, he this. Oh, he's fast. I just like his trunks. Just stupid shit. Build your case when you talking seriously. With facts. Don't just build it with fucking hypothesis and guesstimations and shit. But how would he stack up versus Keith Thurman? For one, let me put a disclaimer on this, man. I don't know how Bud will look when he move up. Bud said he has no issue making 140. I seen him next to Sean Porter. Both of them was in between fights. He looked physically, strong next to Sean Porter. At the Ward and Kovalev rematch. His size looked comparable. People was like, "Oh, you stupid. He's just taller." I'm looking at the arms, the chest. I couldn't see the legs. They both had pants on, I believe. But he looks physically, comparable to most welterweights. Now, will he move up and be a physically dominating welterweight like he's been physically dominating at 135, 140? I don't know. A lot of people just, jump to the conclusion that a guy's going to be physically, dominant at the next level, at the next weight class. Well, it's only 7 pounds, but that 7 pounds is just not 7 pounds when you move up in weight. The 140 to 147 jump is seen to be one of the hardest jumps. It used to be 135 to 147. Roberto Duran made it look easy. And Shane made it look easy. Maybe people think that's why it's easy to make the jump. But, you see Adrian Broner. He, even 135 to 140, I was telling guys, that was a stretch. 135 was it for him. Anything above that, he wasn't physically dominant. So is 147 a weight class one too far for Terence Crawford? And that's a legitimate reason. And I stopped pre-crowning guys after the Adrian Broner debacle. We thought he was the goods. He had the hiccup versus Daniel Ponce de Leon, and he came back and destroyed Jason Lisson and went on a tear. But we pre-anointed him. And I think a lot of people doing the same thing with Crawford. I'm not saying Crawford and Adrian Broner is the same fighter, but I'm just talking about as far as their situations are about the same. And I think we have to wait to see how good of a fighter Terence Crawford is at 147. You tell me Terence Crawford moves up and whoops on Keith Thurman. I think, he got a case of being, the pound for pound fighter then. But Andre Ward's resume is just so great. He had to go up there and just dominate every top welterweight. I mean, he had to dominate Keith, Earl, Sean, whoever else is up there. But as far as him stacking up with Keith, I don't know. He enjoys a nice size advantage versus a lot of guys. I think he outweighed Victor Postal in the second day weigh-in what HBO does by 5 pounds. I don't believe he will enjoy that comfort with Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman is physically stronger at 147. I think his power's better. And I think he got some underrated boxing skills, Bud would really have to outbox Keith Thurman. He can't make those mistakes he made in the past with Delorme, letting Delorme get out fast and hit him, letting Lundy get out fast and hit him, letting Gamboa hit him, he's not going to be able to outbox guys at 147 like he did with Victor Postal, where he able to move and use angles because Postal was a stiff, straight up and down European fighter. These are guys that's just as athletic as Terence Crawford, if not more, in Keith Thurman. Fast like Terence Crawford, can box just as good as Terence Crawford. Crawford's intangibles is going to have to be the difference in this fight, and his boxing skills. If you tell me that you believe Terence Crawford can outbox Keith Thurman, and I can't argue that. I don't know who outbox who. That's too close of a fight to call. And but I tell you one thing, Thurman will have an equalizer in his power. He definitely will have an equalizer in the power department, and he can ice Crawford at any time. Can Crawford ice Keith Thurman? We don't know about his power at 147. It looks pretty dominant at 135. Looked pretty decent at 140, but he did knock out Postal, I think, because Postal kind of mailed it in. Thurman has that type of properties where he'll mail it in as well. And I think Terence Crawford will have a better chance at knocking out Errol Spence, and I'm going to tell you why. I think Errol Spence is a go-getter. If Thurman don't like something get hit with, Thurman will get on his bike and start moving, similar to Floyd. Floyd ain't going to let you hit him with that same punch again unless you lucky. Shane Mosley was one of the lucky ones. Errol Spence is going to give it, and he going to take it. And the opportunity for Bud Crawford to hit Errol Spence and Errol Spence be game to try to get him back. They both have similar mentalities. Keith Thurman doesn't have that mentality. Tit for tat. If somebody hit Bud Crawford, Bud is coming back to beat that ass. And that's a gift and a curse at the same time, because I seen him, get over anxious and overcommit. And versus bigger guys like Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, that can be an issue. I think he needs to, be a little bit more patient on that end. But he has a better chance of knocking out Errol Spence, because Errol Spence is not going to mail it in. That's not in his DNA. To start backing up, backpedaling and moving. He going to move forward and try to get you back. And I think style-wise, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, for people who like action-packed styles, that's the better fight for the fans, that like that type of style, that type of fight. Now, fans that like the boxing and the chess type boxing fight, which I enjoy both, that's more Crawford and Thurman. Seeing a lot of guys make, boxing moves on an elite upper echelon level, like the very highest level that you almost can see it at. And that will kind of be comparable to what Lomachenko and Rigondeaux and the chess match game will kind of be. But Terence Crawford and Errol Spence will be a fucking dog fight. That'll be a dog fight. And with Spence's physical strength, I know Spence is not 100% proven. And that's in my opinion, and that's in a lot of people's opinion. Beating Kell Brook, is a good win. I think Kell Brook is a good beat fighter. But, his career is really going to be defined, or this part of his career is going to be defined what he do with Keith Thurman, if he gets him in the ring, or potentially Sean Porter start building that resume as well. And that's what some people don't get, why people not so high on Errol Spence, is because he's going to continue to build his resume. It's just a matter of time. He got that Paul Williams moniker on his ass of being the most avoided guy. I think he wears that. But if he can beat Keith Thurman and get the number one belt, get that number one welterweight spot and have 3 belts, people will call him out. It'll come. But as far as him and Crawford, that'll be a dog fight. Crawford will have to outbox him, and Crawford is one of the guys like Errol Spence to get stronger as the fight goes on. So, I mean, I think that's a more winnable fight for Crawford. A lot of people going to be like, oh, no. I'm like, hey, styles make fights. I'm not saying that Keith Thurman's a better fighter than Errol Spence. Attribute-wise, I'm just saying for Crawford, he's more likely to outbox Errol Spence than Keith Thurman, in my opinion, and keep his distance. But Errol Spence, he gets strong during the fight, the longer the fight goes on. I don't know about Crawford's inside game. I know Earl got some inside game, and that'd be a determining factor. But I would favor Earl and Keith. That's just a simple fact. I haven't seen Bud at 147.